I would like to have the superpower of like communication.
Okay.
So I could like communicate with like anyone in the world. Like I could speak all the languages. I could like resonate with people. I just think it's like there's so many interesting people out there, but it's like because you don't speak the same language or whatever, like I would love to have just like be able to speak with anybody.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the...
What's up? Y'all already know what's going on. The big Barbie in the building, Nickie Booshie, senior writer and host here at Women's Wrestling Talk. And of course, we have nothing but the best guest here in women's wrestling and all of professional wrestling all around the world. Very excited to have her back on the show. Alex Gracia, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. It's been a little while.
Absolutely. It has been a while. We love to see you back. Now, where are you located here in the world?
So I'm originally from Texas, but I moved to Southern California about 2 years ago.
Nice. Okay. So how's the weather in California where you are?
You know, it's like it's been so muggy and rainy lately.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no, like where's the sun? Please come.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. I was in California and we spoke briefly at WrestleCon, so I'm super excited to have you on. We're going to get into some fun questions first before we get into wrestling. And I know you travel and you're moving all the time, even with working out and stuff. So name 3 of your favorite artists right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
Okay. So I've been listening to Beyonce a lot more lately because I feel like it's like she's getting that buzz again. And then I'm a Lizzo girl.
Okay.
For real, like working out, I'm like, I just put on Lizzo and I'm like, I'm in my vibe.
Nice.
And then third, that's a good question. So my favorite band ever is, I've been like into like some like the old school Disney girls lately. So for whatever reason, I don't know if it's because I've been seeing How I Met Your Father with Hilary Duff, but I've been playing a lot of like Hilary Duff, Lizzie McGuire stuff.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing. Great show. Such a legend. She still looks the same.
I know, exactly. And so I'm like, like something popped up recently, like Come Clean or something. And I was like, she had some jams.
Yeah, she definitely did. What's your favorite TV show or movie to watch?
So I'm really big into reality TV. So right now I'm watching The Ultimatum because that's on currently.
Do you watch The Challenge?
Not The Challenge.
Okay.
Oh, no, is that one I need to see?
Like it's been around for years. I mean, it's something
like
that
on MTV, the one from MTV?
like it's something that I grew up on, and so I actually got back into it. Man, it's really good. Do you happen to watch Jersey Shore since you like reality?
I watched Jersey Shore. I've been seing like The Real World pop up too, and I'm like, I might need to go back because some of these seasons are legendary.
Legendary. That's so fun. What is it about reality TV that draws you in?
I think that it kind of makes me like put everything to the side. Like I don't have to think too much, but I'm getting entertained.
Yes.
And so like I love the dramas like Scandal and How to Get Away with Murder, but like you have to really pay attention.
Yeah.
You're gonna like miss something or miss a clue. So like I have to be like, okay, I'm ready to watch this. But like reality TV is just the best because I can just throw it on and I'm like, oh, I'm getting entertained and I don't have to use a lot of brain skills.
Now I know this is a big topic with Tom Sandoval on Vanderpump Rules. Have you been keeping up with that at all?
I never got into Vanderpump.
Okay.
I like Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and then I'm a Kardashian fan. Like
you know, Vanderpump Rules is something that you can literally get into now. I've watched it from the beginning of the season, even with when they introduced Brandi Glanville on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and stuff. But I'm curious, who's your favorite Beverly Hills housewife then? You can give me a couple.
A couple. Is it okay? I'm so bad with names. Is it
Okay.
Sean? Is there no, it's not Sean. Oh my gosh. I'm not good at like these
names? I'm sure you know. I'm sure you know Kyle Richards though. She's a
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Kyle is very popular, and then Lisa Rinna's been on the show too. But I love reality TV as well.
Yeah.
Now going back to entertainment, music, and artists, are there any songs that you just have on repeat that you can just like you have to play it every day?
So Demi Lovato, Confident.
That's a good one.
I always put it on. It has such a good beat, such a good like vibe and message. So I'm like that was actually like one of my original walkout songs.
Nice.
That I'll still use sometimes, like if it's not like a television or there's gonna be a copyright issue.
Yeah.
But
right.
That's one I definitely have. Nas Industry Baby.
Okay.
Every day. I feel on the way to the gym, I have that, and then I have what's the other one?
Do you have a go-to Beyonce song like right now?
Gosh, they're all so good. I like the like Destiny's Child stuff too. Like
okay.
I'll put on like the Survivor, Bootylicious, like that's like really like the Beyonce vibes. I'm a big band person, like the pop bands.
Yes, I love bands. Listen, if I live here in Nashville, so even if it's a band I've never heard of or whatever, I'll go to the basement or I'll go to certain places here in Nashville and they'll just have a random band. I went to a wrestling show and next door there was a band playing and I just hung out there, just listened. So I get it. I definitely get it with the bands because
it's cool and it's like they have so much energy and it just it gets your mood up.
Oh yeah, definitely. What's your favorite vacation destination?
So I would have to say recently I went to Cancun.
Nice.
Like in last year. And so that was probably one of my favorite like vacation destinations. Like one of my favorite places ever to go was Japan, which I went for wrestling. So it's hard to say like vacation.
Right.
But it was definitely like when we had our free time to do some touristy stuff, I'm like, I would love to go back and just like have a time and sightsee, and you don't really have any like work responsibilities as much.
Absolutely. I travel as much as I can around the States, never been out the country, but even if it's wrestling related, it's still a vacation in a sense because I remember I went to Fort Lauderdale for the Impact tapings.
Okay.
And I hung out, I was there to do some content and stuff, but it was so nice. So I can understand that. I'm sure Japan is beautiful and such a great experience within itself, especially
I would love to go back. I was like, it was just the best. And it was really early in my career, but I was there over 2 months. Yeah. So I kind of like got adapted and you start to feel like, oh, this is home, but yet you're going to pack your stuff up and leave. But you're all settled in. So it's a weird like transition.
Yeah. I love that. Now you talk about bands. So I know you had some childhood celebrity crushes growing up. Like who are a couple that just come to mind? Who posters you had on your wall?
So my favorite band in the world was S Club 7. Like
what?
Die hard, love them. I almost flew to England this year before like because they were having the reunion tour.
Yeah.
And I literally like was planning, I was picking dates, I was reaching out to promotions in UK because I was like, hey, I'm gonna be there for the S Club concert. Like might as well try to wrestle over there too.
That's awesome.
And then like I had some promotions like recently say like, oh, are you still coming? Because I was trying to figure out map wise where everything was and dates. And I was like, due to like Paul passing away and Hannah canceling the tour, I was like, it won't be the same.
Devastating. Yeah. I don't even, it surprised me when people even know who they are. Cause I was even a young, I was in elementary school, but I had their CD. And I remember that one song that would play S
That's
Club.
the party.
Like
That
an
was on their first CD.
Yeah. So I remember that. And I wasn't as like, when you're younger and you don't go back and listen to stuff, you forget it. But that's one, like, that's a gem. Are there any others that you had some celebrity crushes on?
Celebrity crushes. I'm trying to think like back then. I'm like,
I know.
because I probably still listen to them and I'm not even realizing. Okay, probably young Michael Jackson.
Okay, that's a good one.
Like baby Michael Jackson when I was younger, I was just like,
Yeah.
he's so cute. Like I would be one of those girls, like
Yeah.
Right.
Well, see, and like for me when I was growing up, like you had like the Aaron Carters, the Nick Lachey,
Aaron Carter, forgot
the
about
Justin, like the Justin Timberlakes, like it was. I remember getting the 17 magazines and just, oh my God, just so crazy. Throwback.
Yeah, those were the best. Like I had it every month, and I was like, all the pictures were just so amazing.
So amazing. Is there any random phrases that you just say out loud, whether it's just a phrase of your own or just anything you see like viral on social media? Is there anything that you just shout out a lot?
I don't recall.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to think. I'm like, I probably say so many things I'm not even realizing.
Don't even realize it. Yeah. It does help when other people, that is a tricky question because it does help when other people tell you that you say something a lot. But yes.
It's gonna come to me and I'm gonna say it like later today. I'm gonna be like, oh, I say this all the time.
Yes. Just blurt it out too. Now, I don't know if you love Halloween as much as I love Halloween. I'm a big Halloween person. But do you have any like Halloween costumes that are your favorite that you've worn or you've seen?
So I love horror movies.
Oh.
But I would not last in mansions or like haunted houses or haunted hay rides.
No, me neither. But I love horror.
I cannot, but I'm like, I am such like a horror film like person and I love that. So it's so crazy. And I really wanted this. It was a Barbie cheerleading costume when I was younger. This is why this is like my favorite costume, I think, because I never had it. And I never ended up getting it because I didn't want to go into Party City because they would have people walking around in costumes.
Yeah.
And I hated that. I just wanted to go in and get my costume. And so I knew which one I wanted. And I remember going in with my mom. We were going to go to the little kids aisle. And I was turning around the corner at the same time as like a 6-foot Scream, which this movie, like I watched a little bit, like someone had it on when I was younger. And like Scream was like my person I was like traumatized by at the time. And so we like came and met with each other and I just let out this huge scream and I ran to the front and got under one of the cash registers, like one of the cash register ladies, like cabinet thing. And they had to call my mom on the intercom because my mom thought I ran out of the store, but I was under the cash register. And they had to be like, someone like your daughter's over here hiding under the cash register. I didn't go to Party City for a long, long time. I don't even remember what I ended up wearing that year, but I never got to be a Barbie cheerleader. And I was so sad.
Now, you said you liked horror movies now. Do you have any favorites?
So the Conjuring series.
Nice.
Yes. So like, you know how like they'll spin off on like the Annabelles and stuff. So
right.
It's all connected. Like,
yeah.
My sisters and I get so into that. And even the recent one, I forgot what it's called, but it might still be in theaters.
Megan? No. Megan, maybe?
Not Megan, but I saw Megan. This one is like the mom got possessed or something.
Oh, okay. Now, I know that. I don't know the name, but yeah. Those are always good, like the possession, like Amityville horror. Yeah. Now, listen, I don't want you to get scared because I am a Halloween horror film junkie. I love Michael Myers, but I have to tell you, I love Ghostface. I literally have this sitting on my desk. It's one of my favorites. And then my PlayStation has Jason, Freddy, and Michael on it too. So I love horror. So I love those type of movies too. They're so sometimes I don't like to be scared like jumping, like someone jumping. I like to be mentally terrified.
I enjoy the stories. So
Yes.
like as I've gotten older, I've appreciated the Scream movies so much more.
Oh my God, yes.
Especially with the new ones that came out. I was like, oh, I kind of like these. And so I like kind of was going back and like was watching the first one and the second one.
Yes.
And I had a new appreciation for them.
I love that. I love that. 3 is probably my favorite. I love the last one that just came out. The storytelling in that is so amazing. They scared me a little bit, but you know. Last rapid question that we have to get to know Alex a little more is what superpower would you have if you had to choose one?
So I would like to have the superpower of like communication.
Okay.
So I could like communicate with like anyone in the world. Like I could speak all the languages. I could like resonate with people. I just think it's like there are so many interesting people out there, but it's like because you don't speak the same language or whatever, like I would love to have just like be able to speak with anybody.
Wow. You know what? That's the most unique one I've ever had. I feel like that's so unique because it does communication ties us all together. So if you could talk to anyone from any country and any language,
anywhere in the world, who knows, even a alien one day or something, like like, hey, I can talk to you, like, and then they'll be like, Alex, what are they saying?
Yeah. I like that one. I'm gonna have to. That's definitely getting clipped because I need that. I need to remind myself of that, and maybe it will make me pursue a language. Of course,
I know I need to get back on Duolingo.
Does it? Do you feel like it's very effective?
It will, like every once in a while. Like I'll get better. I like lose my Spanish because I don't speak it a lot, and like when I go to Mexico, I feel like I'm really good at understanding, but not always like being able to respond. But no, Duolingo is like it won't teach you Spanish, but it'll teach you like basic phrases and stuff. So at least like it's something.
Yeah, nice. I'll have to definitely check that out. Now, of course, this is Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet, and we have to talk wrestling. So I'm very curious to know what got you into wrestling and talk about some of your first moments of wrestling and some of your inspirations as a wrestler.
Yeah, so I got into wrestling after college, after the job and everything, and it was not what I thought it was going to be. And I was just like felt miserable. And I was living in Dallas at the time and my lease was coming up. So my parents were like, go ahead, come home. Don't sign another lease and waste money like while you're trying to figure out what you want to do. And so I literally at home just started going through lists of things I would possibly like or possibly be good at. And I actually ended up getting like a job offer as a producer for ESPN radio in Louisiana. And I got a scholarship to go into creative writing at the University of Louisiana. So I was like, oh, this is what you do. Now I'm going to go to grad school. And I was at dinner with my family one day and my cousin's daughter was actually watching women's wrestling on the phone, and I was just like watching it and I was like, I forgot. I was like, this is just so cool and so entertaining, and it was like kind of giving me even a spark that I wasn't seeing in myself for a while, that I'm like, oh, this is making me happy just watching it. And my cousin was like, yeah, I don't know why you never tried that. Like, I feel like you would have been so good. And I was like, well, I don't even know how to get into that. And he's like, there's a wrestling school down the street. And I was like, it just seemed like, I'm like, is this just some alternate universe of this information I didn't know before? Like, how is all of a sudden, like, y'all know of a wrestling school down the street? But so it was Texas Wrestling Academy, formerly Shawn Michaels Wrestling Academy. And I went home and I was just kind of like, you know what? Like, I'm just going to go. Like, I like working out. If anything, I went and tried it. And if I hate it, I got a good workout out of it and we'll see from there. And so I emailed Rudy Boy Gonzalez and he said, okay, new classes, new students are starting. It was September 11th. And so and he was like, get your cardio up. So I was getting my cardio up for like those few weeks or whatever. And I went and oh my gosh, like they tested me so bad because he's very old school to where it's like, no, like you're going to earn getting in that ring type of trainer. And I went and I think it just fueled like the athlete and like competitor inside of me. And it was just something that I was like, I felt so happy doing, like whether I was like, oh, I can be so big at this one day or whatever. Like at that time, I was just looking for something that made me want to get out of bed in the morning. And that was doing that for me. And so I don't think my parents expected me to stay in it as long as I did. But like all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, I'm going to drive 8 hours to New Mexico to go be on a show. Bye. And they're just like, what? Like just so confused what's happening. And so, but here we are 5 years later and I was stuck with it and haven't left. And it's still as challenging as it was at the beginning, but still as like exciting and motivating, like as it was then too.
Absolutely. I love that. That's very inspiring within itself. Now, within those 5 years, you've had some crazy opponents, those who have been in the industry for just as long as you have and longer or shorter times. So off the top of the head, do you have anyone that comes to mind that you would say is probably your toughest opponent?
So one of my first opponents was Taya.
Yes.
And it was like my first match with like someone who was on television and someone who had a lot of experience and she was really good. So I would say mentally that was really challenging because that was the first time I really felt like I had to like level up. And we say now we're like, we haven't wrestled in like 4 years. She goes, I would like, if we wrestled, I know it'd be totally different now. She goes, you were so new. And I was like, I still feel so new, but I was really new then.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's so cool. Now you're starting to grow more and more in the ring. Are there 3 individuals that come to mind that you would say past, present, even dead or alive, 3 dream opponents that you have when you think about you just having dreams of just getting in the squared circle with different people?
One would be Natalia.
Nice.
I know like that would be like, you know, she knows what she's doing. Like she's super talented, super skilled, been in this. Like if anyone knows about wrestling and knows how to have a wrestling match, it's her. So she would be one. And then I've always wanted to wrestle Alexa Bliss. Like she was one of the reasons I wanted to do this was I just thought she was so cool. Like I was like, oh, she's my height. And so that gave me confidence because I was like, I didn't really know if there are like height requirements or whatever, like when I was first getting in. And so I just felt like I'm a petite girl. And so I just didn't know. I'm like, I don't know if we'll be able to do this. And when I saw like, oh, she's my height and we're approximately the same size, like that really inspired me to be like, oh, okay, like, and look where she is. So you start to like look at that, but she would be one. And then third would probably be, I think like Sasha Banks, just because she's just such an icon. And like, I feel like she's just so like iconic in wrestling, like with the boss theme. And so it could be like the boss versus the dream. I feel like it'd be like,
that's nice,
such a character match. And we have like the opposing colors. So it's like super
with that being said, would you rather face Sasha Banks or do you want to face Mercedes Moné?
Oh gosh, she's killing it now.
Yeah.
Yes. So Mercedes Moné, like for sure. Like, and the fact that she's on the indies, I know I'm like, oh, this is my chance. Like
Yes.
we're closer to getting there than we were before.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, with people like Mercedes Moné and also Trinity being from WWE and now being in the independent scene more rapidly, that
Yeah.
is something that opens the door for so many different individuals and not only wrestling, but specifically women's wrestling as well.
Mhm.
Now, speaking of that, we've had Rhea Ripley versus Zelina Vega. And then we also have had matches like Jordan Grace versus Deonna Purrazzo. Now, is there any match that you would say for you, all around, that you've seen that would be the best match of the year thus far?
Of the year, so like this year?
Just this year. What's a match that you would say the best match you've seen?
This is because like I love her
Yeah.
personally, and then I'm also like just so intrigued with Trinity, but I would say Trinity versus Kylan King is like
Wow.
my match of the year because like I'm so proud of Kylan and like how she's like at the beginning we went through similar things and like she has like triumphed through it and just like not stopped. So it's like if anyone deserved an opportunity to be signed somewhere to somewhere like Impact, like I was just so happy to see her there. Like I'm like her hard work like paid off. And then of course like it's gonna be an honor stepping in the ring with Trinity with how
Yeah.
athletic she is and how charismatic she is. And so the fact that like I was like, hey, Kylan's freaking hanging. Like, this is amazing. Like, it just shows how talented she is. And
Absolutely.
so I would just say, like, someone who I love watching as a wrestler versus like someone who's an amazing wrestler, but I also like love personally and respect and admire. Like, that was my match of the year so far.
I love that because I've seen Kylan King actually wrestle multiple times now. I saw her wrestle with Giselle on the taping for
Mhm.
Impact Wrestling, so that was very honorable. And a very fun fact: she's actually my birthday twin.
Oh, wow. That's
So
awesome.
May 4th, and that's how we kind of connected. My first time meeting her was at an NWA show, and she's absolutely astonishing in the ring.
Yeah.
Very underrated in a sense, and I think people, because of having matches with Trinity, get to pay attention to her
Mhm.
as well. Now, speaking of Impact Wrestling, earlier a couple months ago, you actually did some tapings and wrestled. We got to see you in a couple matches. Talk about your experience with going to Impact and having that time now, especially after COVID. They've done a lot of revamping, a lot of growing, and we all know the Knockouts division is one of the greatest women's divisions in the world. So talk about your experience and your matches as well.
So right off the back, like Gail is amazing.
Mhm.
Like he just is there to help you and you feel that it's like, oh, she's not just coming up to me because like that's her job, but she really takes the time and she's like, oh, how has everything been here? Like, how are you liking it? Etc. And just very invested with me that was just there like as an extra for the
Yeah.
weekend. And so that really like meant a lot. So it's like, okay, like the fact that she's even giving me this time, like, you know how much time she gives to her division. And so that's really cool to see. And the girls, a lot of them I've wrestled on the indie scene or we've like been in the same locker room. And just like girls, like we respect each other because we've all seen the grind. We've all seen the like all changing in small rooms, like we've done that together. So I think it's like a different type of bond and connection you have like when it's other indie girls. And so like they had that like, come in the locker room, like, no, why are you out there? Like, no, you're here for the weekend, like come in and stuff. And so that was really like blew me away because I'm just like, they're
Yeah.
really like making me feel like, oh, okay, like they're appreciating that I'm here
Yeah.
and they're like treating me just like anybody else that's on the card and not treating me differently just because
Yeah.
they know I'm gonna be gone in a few days and I'm just there temporarily. So that was really cool. So, I mean, the people over there are just amazing, like guys and girls, everybody, like everyone was just so nice and so helpful. And it was a really fun weekend.
Yeah. I have some babies over there in Impact Wrestling. I love my people. When you said that, come in and, hang with us, it sounded like Alicia Edwards was saying that, but I could only imagine a great experience, with people like Deonna Purrazzo and other people in that Knockouts division. It's been amazing. And honestly, I hope to see you back over there. And speaking of Impact, I'm curious to know, you talk about being in the game for 5 years. What is it that you want to make, and what's that leaving mark that you want to have for your legacy, not only in women's wrestling, but also professional wrestling as a whole?
I was thinking about this a lot, like recently, because with the whole like pink dream vibe and starting a business, and I like will get in my head and almost like sometimes give myself like a pity party of like, why me? Like, why haven't I gotten signed? Like, I work hard, I do this, I invest in myself, I make connections, etc. And I was like, maybe like that's the whole point of my story, is that it's like I almost like went in not thinking it was going to be easy, but I had so many experienced people and people who were training me that I respected their opinion because I knew they knew what they were talking about, saying like, oh, like, you're a TV girl, you're going to do great, you're going to be one of my best students. Oh my gosh, like you have a great like look and gimmick and whatever, and people can do so much with you, and etc. So you start to like get that in your head, and then you're like, when nothing is happening or you get rejected or things didn't go your way or you're just not sure, like it's the having to like get up from falling down. And I don't know, I feel like now it's like my message has changed for people, that it's like your story is your story and other people's story is their story, and it's like you don't know what's waiting for you. And I feel like it's like I'm keep going because I feel like I'm like, I know eventually like the time and work I put into this like will eventually pay off. Like it has to, because as long as you keep like slow and steady, and it's okay if you haven't gotten that big contract yet or that big TV match, like I just want to show people that it's like, I feel like a lot of fans, or like the fans of mine, like they're going to like feel that accomplishment when I'm feeling that accomplishment too. And so I think it's going to be like, oh my gosh, like, yes, like, and I want it to feel like we made it, not like I just made it. And so I feel like I'm trying to be open with my story and just showing people like, it's like, oh, hey, I've gotten rejected from my dream company 3 times and I didn't know why, or I do this, or why do I even bother paying this much for gear anymore? Like I'm not on TV, but I still do because I like believe in myself and invest in my brand, and I'm always going to like give it my 100%, like no matter how big the stage is and whether I'm wrestling in front of 100,000 people or 10 people, like I want them to get the experience of, oh, this is the pink dream.
I love that so much. Like, oh my God, like when you say pink dream, I have to know because I've been dying. I told you this before we even started. I've been dying to know because I'm obsessed with pink as well. I like it's my color, it's my thing, Where does the inspiration come from with the identity of pink dream?
So when I was like thinking of kind of who I wanted to be in wrestling, I felt so lost and so confused. And it was the people like around me who I trained with. And this is where it's funny because you don't realize like other people see, like it's right in front of you. Like the answer is always right in front of you, and you're just overthinking things and going in all different directions. But they're like, well, you're definitely going to wear pink, right? Because you wear pink like every day. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like I should definitely wear pink. Like even my first day of training, I came and I'm like, I'm like, I've been her like from the beginning. Like I was in a pink shirt have my leggings, pink sneakers. Like that was me showing up on day one. And so I feel like it's like I'm gonna end this or show out as her, but as just a keep elevating version of myself. But so of course you can't just be like pink, that's kind of taken. But so my favorite, I love jewels, I love sparkles, I love all that. And on the background on my phone is like my favorite, just like a cute picture of like my favorite diamond in the world. Is the biggest pink diamond, and it's called the Pink Dream, and it's also been called like the Pink Star and stuff. And so I was like, the Pink Dream, and I would like say it for days, like the Pink Dream. And then it started to like stick, because I was like, I don't know, it wasn't like I was like, I don't, because you're just like, I gotta commit to this, like once you do it. And like you, like people I train with and people around were like, oh no, I like that. And then they would like, whether they were playing around or not, they'd be like, okay, like your next Pink Dream. And I was like, oh, this might, like maybe it's sticking already before I've even like made it a thing. And so I was like, you can do so much with like what pink represents. But also I'm like, I feel like if you were to like pick a color, I'm like, oh, that's me, like different shades of pink. And of course, like with Dream, it's like, what is this all about? It's like, that's what we're trying to chase. And so I'm like, I feel like I can go so many different directions, like whether it's with the color or with the action. And so I was just like committed to the Pink Dream, and it's stayed like that ever since.
I love that. When I first stumbled upon you, I will say from a marketing standpoint, for someone like me, I'm automatically tuned in because of pink, and I love pink. So you automatically get fans just based upon. And then when I found out you were going to be at WrestleCon, I was like, I have to go speak to her because she's wearing, like, she's going to be in pink. And that's the whole thing. Because the one thing that I will say that's a little different in the indies is you're not really wearing a gimmick. You're really wearing an attitude, and it's a real life thing. Mm-hmm. So it probably did take a while for you to realize that pink was really your thing, and not even realizing that you can tie it. So I'm really happy that you were able to really find that connection and brand it and really make it into something, because I feel like you're just beginning. Now, with that being said, I do have to ask the question. We have world champions like Rhea Ripley, Camille in NWA, and Deonna Purrazzo, as I mentioned before, the Knockouts world champion. Are there any, or is there specifically one world title or any title in general that you look at and you're like, you know what? I want to hold that. That's a title that I want to hold.
Man, because it's like, I want them all. I would say like a SmackDown Women's Championship title. Like, and I think it's because I've always, like, a lot of times, like, the wrestlers I'm really interested in or like I want to watch are on SmackDown. And so you just like, you get more connected to that brand. And I'm just like, that would be like, I think like, just like, whoa, like I made it where I was watching, like, type of moment. Cause I was like, that's something I've seen since I was like even little. So I think like for like that reason, I would want that one.
That's a good one, because a lot of prestige in that championship. Alexa Bliss, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Asuka, Naomi. I could go on for days for how much prestige has been built in the SmackDown Women's Championship. I think that's a good one. Of course, before we get out of here, love, I have to ask you, I have to know, and you have to tell the people, why are you the one to watch in 2023?
I think because I'm finally all in. Like, you haven't seen the Pink Dream and Alex Gracia to the fullest. And I feel like I'm finally like figuring out myself. And so like, if you're going to get the clearest vision of like what the Pink Dream is and what the Pink Dream represents, like, you're going to see her this year. And so I'm just more motivated than ever. And not only like want to continue that, but again, what I was saying, like hope to inspire other people too, because I feel like it's like when I win, I want people to feel like, oh, we did it. And so I feel like this year it's finally like game changing for me mentally and physically. So I feel like, yeah, exactly what I said. It's a pink dream no one's ever seen before.
I absolutely love that. Well, I can't wait to see the Pink Dream. Listen, it feels like a movie to me. I'll try to catch you somewhere, as you know, I travel all over. So hopefully I see you at one of the shows. Can't wait. First off, thank you for joining us today. Let everyone know where they can find you on all social media handles.
Yes. So Twitter, Instagram, you can find me at Alex Gracia 3. And then my website is alexgracia.net. And then my brand Pink Dream Collection is just pinkdreamcollection.com. So if you want those beauty products for girly girls on the go, get yourself hooked up.
I like that. Y'all better check her out, okay? Y'all have been tuned in to Women's Wrestling Talk. Of course, I am Nickie Booshie here on the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.